Appreciate y'all coming up to Columbia for this. Excited to get going. Obviously, today is reporting day for us. So just finished up a first team meeting of the preseason camp 2025 season. Appreciate Dr. Amaritas, our school president, coming over and visiting with our players earlier today in that meeting. And just finished up, or we're in some offense-defense meetings right now. They'll be down here shortly to visit with you guys, and then meetings tonight and on the field tomorrow for the first practice. But really eager to get going. I know every coach in America is talking about the summer they had and what a good summer it was. We've got the best strength and conditioning staff in the entire country, and it's not even close. What those guys do with our players is special. The development art of our guys. I got asked that question at SEC Media Day about development, and it's evident with what we're doing with our players. Does it mean that we're going to go have the greatest season ever this year? Not necessarily, but we've gotten better as a team since January. We've gotten better as a team this summer, and huge kudos to our guys in the weight room for what they did. Obviously, we talk, everybody, Luke Day hits everything up, but he's got a phenomenal staff, and that's why I say that we've got overall the best strength and conditioning staff in the country because of the work that we've put in, the progress that our guys have made, and then just the entire group. When you talk about Luke Day and Chip Morton, the experience he has in the NFL and his knowledge, and Jameel Walker, who's been a strength coach in the SEC at multiple schools, and Nate Sedegren, and Mitch Oakey, and Austin Winfrey, and Will Mullins, and Mike Procino, and Jacob Kernat. I mean, it's just and all the interns and volunteer people, everybody that we had in there is an army of guys that work back there in the weight room with our players throughout the summer, and they did a heck of a job. Just the everybody can track how much somebody benches and squats and how fast they run. That's pretty easy, but all the information that they're able to give us as coaches in regards to what our players are doing and how they're developing and where they're deficient, it's next level, and it's cutting edge, and it's a huge part of our success. So we're grateful for those guys as well, and certainly grateful for them, eager to get going. We had some success last season, not the ultimate success that we can have here as a football program, but we certainly had success in 2024. And when you have success, it's human nature. That's either going to breed complacency or a hunger to be even better and take things farther. And it's certainly the success we had last season has bred hunger to be even better in 2025. And that's very evident with the way that our guys have worked since they got back in January and throughout the summer. There's a lot of work to do. By no means have we arrived and we're a finished product. We've got a lot of work to do between now and August 31st, and then we've got a lot of work to do throughout the season as well. But off to a great start, and been a fun day of meetings so far today. It'll be a fun night tonight, and eager to get out on the field tomorrow morning. Injury-wise, I told you guys I would have an update for you on Thursday, and I do. Tomorrow, Ryan Brubaker, Caleb Williams, Jalen Brown, and Zabari Sandy will not be active tomorrow. As far as their timetable to return right now, I don't have one for you. It's not going to be anytime in the near future, I would say, and we'll see how things evolve as we get into the season and go into the season. But those guys won't be out there tomorrow, and won't be. It's not a short-term thing with those guys, but they'll be fine and going to be great players for us here at Carolina. Just won't be out there on the field working at it tomorrow. But other than that, we're in a pretty good, really good position. Been a great summer, and can't wait to get started. Questions?
Shayna, you mentioned several times about replacing all the special teams guys. I was wondering, will you have maybe an increased presence with Joe D and those guys this camp as opposed to last camps?
No, I'd say Joe D would tell you that I've always had an increased presence. Certainly, I've got a background on offense and defense from coaching both sides of the ball, but I've always been involved with special teams. But no, not really, David. I'm always. I've already met with them plenty this week talking about personnel and scheme, and we'll continue to be. And I'm in every special teams meeting and probably more involved than Jody wants me to be from a special teams standpoint. But if anything, it would just be I've got to be more. I've got to do a better job of putting all of our guys, not just the specialists, but all of our guys in just pressure situations and things like that, and creating those in practice. So maybe a little bit more of those, because we do have guys that'll be kicking and punting and snapping in the first game for the first time in a college uniform. But as far as being more involved with special teams, no, it'll be the same, and certainly I'll try and be more involved. We want to take things farther in 2025, so I'll take my involvement even farther. But I'd say it's been pretty far in 4 seasons.
Keeping with special teams, what does the competition at Holder look like right now?
It's a hell of a question, Jordan. It's big time, man. You're coming off the top rope on day one right there. Great question. It really is. I love a Holder question. We were very spoiled, obviously, having Kai the last few seasons, and people think that just happens. I mean, he was able to get – Hunter just walked outside. I just saw Hunter out there, but, his snaps were elite throughout his career. But there were a couple times where Kai had to get some ones down that maybe weren't great. So we were very spoiled to have Kai the last few years. Right now, it's kind of a combination of William Joyce, Mason Love, and we've been working Cutter Woods in there a little bit as well. I've been around a lot of places where your quarterback was the holder. I know Georgia's done that some in the past, and Cutter is a really good football player, really good athlete, and it's kind of natural at it, and he's worked at it quite a bit. So a lot of it would depend on what our kicker and punter situation looks like. So you want to have as many, just like long snapper, you want to have as many guys as you possibly can, but depending on how the competition shakes out at kicker and punter, that will affect the holder position as well, i.e. Joyce and Love, both what they're doing in there. But I feel good about that. I really do. They've worked a lot at it, and going back to spring practice, but even this summer, I mean, they'd be in here early in the morning before workouts, just getting some holds in those guys. So I think we'll be okay there.
Yeah, you're talking about development earlier. I wanted to ask about the offensive line, specifically a few of the guys that have been here and had to play really early, like Josiah, Tree, and Tro. What have you kind of seen from them in terms of their progression and how ready they can be going into this year where there's several spots available?
Yeah, really just spent a lot of time in our team meeting just talking about those guys specifically with the team. Josiah Thompson has developed. Josiah Thompson, I'm pleased and proud to report, is over 300 pounds as of today, which that's been I don't want to say battle, but a mission for him, because he came in a little light to play left tackle in the SEC, and not only did he do it, he did it at a high level, but he's really attacked everything, and that goes back to the development in the weight room, training room, Yemi Rodriguez in nutrition, but he's been able to put on weight, and now he's developed, and physically he's more prepared now to go play offensive tackle in the SEC. When we have workouts in the summertime, if a guy's not quite healthy, so you see all the different, equipment and things like that we have out here for our guys, but there's certain things where if they've got a health issue, they are what we call modified, meaning all the other offensive linemen are pushing this sled today, and the sled is 500 pounds, but because you're not quite healthy enough, the sled you push is going to be 200 pounds. Well, Tree, Marquis Anderson, I'd say, is another one of those guys. They've had some injuries. They were modified less this summer than they've ever been, which means that they've taken another step physically. Tree's grown up a lot. And then Tro's been awesome. Singled him out with the team because he's really changed his body in a lot of ways, changing his body fat percentage. Jeremiah, our athletic director, he texted me over the summer about Tro, because Jeremiah would come up here in the evening and kind of work out on his own in the weight room. And one night this summer texted me and was like, every time I come up here, Trevon is always in the weight room. And the guy works his butt off on his own. He'd be up in there on the treadmill just trying to lose weight and change his body comp. So really proud of all those young offensive linemen, and that's one of the things that we talked about as a staff today. I went through with the staff a lot of the things that have me excited about this team, and the development of those young offensive linemen, because we've recruited very well at that position. They're now a year older and have developed more and are the best version of themselves than they've been or than they've ever been.
Does Jeremiah have a depth chart for the offensive line yet, or is that just his only observation?
Good one. No, but if he wants one, I'll get it to him for sure. If there was a depth chart, Hale.
Yeah.
Right now, we have the way that they will take the first rep tomorrow, but that's one thing that we met on this morning as a staff was here's how we're going to take the first rep tomorrow, but here's kind of how we're breaking up reps on the offensive line because there's competition on the offensive line. There's competition everywhere, and that's what's great about preseason camp. But no, he doesn't have it, but if he wanted to get who's going to take the first reps tomorrow, I'm glad to get it to him.
At quarterback, how will those reps be broken up? And is Luke strictly at that position now, or is he still kind of floating around?
Luke is strictly a quarterback. Luke is smart enough where if we needed him to go take some reps at receiver, he could. I shouldn't say strictly. He's still working on special teams. He's still working in the return game. He's doing all that. But in regards to offensive positions, he's not doing anything with wide receiver right now. Could he? Absolutely. He's smart enough and he knows the offense. We could put him out there and certainly do some things with him from a receiver standpoint, but he's working at quarterback. Right now, obviously Lenoris is the starter going into preseason camp, and those guys are all fighting to be the backup at this point. And Luke's got the most experience. If we had to if we played Virginia Tech tomorrow and Lenoris had to come out of the game for a play, Luke would be the next quarterback in the game as we stand here today. There's a lot of things I'm really looking forward to watching and evaluating as we go through the month of August, and that second quarterback and third quarterback battle is something that all those guys have had really good summers, and looking forward to seeing how those guys evolve over the next month.
With the various position battles, do you have a general timeline in your head, or I guess the pros and cons of naming someone too early? I mean, they're more comfortable, but it's also you could be missing out competition-wise.
Yeah, it's we talked about that too. For us, we've got about 2 weeks of pure just South Carolina, and then 2 weeks before the first game, we start introducing Virginia Tech. And then obviously we get into the Virginia Tech week. So I think we'd love to have a general idea, Lulu, as you go into that, not this coming week, not the week after that, but 2 weeks before the Virginia Tech game, kind of have a general idea. But also you want to develop guys. We've got a battle at safety going on right now. Obviously DQ Smith has a chance to be a 4-year starter and should be, but who's that guy going to be next to him that replaces Nicky Manwari? And that's something that is a battle coming out of spring practice. Peyton Williams is the starter. He'll take the first rep out there tomorrow, but he's battling some guys, and we need to get all those guys work with DQ Smith so they're on the field at the same time and communicating. And then as we start getting ready for the opponent, we need to kind of narrow that down. But along those lines too, it's one of those where y'all know we continue to we want to develop depth to play a lot of guys. And it might be these are the two starting safeties, but we'd love to get it to the point where we can rotate 2 other safeties in the game too to be able to rest those guys when needed. Same thing with corner, same thing with wide receiver, same thing with offensive line. So want to develop depth, and then as you get a couple weeks out, I'd love to have things narrowed down, kind of what roles are going into the first game.
Going back to the quarterback room, what have you seen out of some of the new guys like Cutter Woods and Aaron Nolan so far this summer?
One, how hard they've worked. They're really they're competitive guys that have just worked. Lenoris sets a great example with his work ethic and his mindset and just how he does things. And then those guys have come right in and kind of followed his lead, so to speak. They've improved. They've gotten better. Obviously, changing their bodies, getting stronger. You're talking about a guy in air who needed to, coming in, he'd be the first to tell you, probably change his body in a lot of ways. And he's worked hard to do that. Cutter coming from high school. They have a great program, great weight program at Westside, but any freshman coming in wants to get bigger and stronger, and he's really worked hard to do that. So probably the biggest thing that just stands out with both those guys is just their work ethic and the professionalism to both be young. The professionalism and just pro mentality that both of them have had, not just this summer, but since they got here in January.
Nick Harbour has said that his choice to focus solely on football this season has done wonders for his ability to understand the game, to build off of last season. Have you seen that from him, and what are you looking to get out of him this season?
Yeah, I've seen that. Really, everybody thinks playing receiver is just line up, run a 12-yard curl route and catch the ball and then use your speed and just outrun everybody, or line up and just run as fast as you can, and because you're a world-class track athlete, we just throw the ball deep to you and you catch it and you go score. And I wish playing receiver, especially at this level, was that easy. I mean, there's so many details at that position, where to line up, what your split is, based on how the defensive back is playing you, how you're going to release off the line of scrimmage. In this league, defensive backs get up in receivers' faces and want to get their hands on you, and how you get off that, the technique that it takes, and then how you run the route, and then the coverage the defense plays may change how you run the route. All those things are things that take time, and he did the best he could last year when he was running track, but until you're actually out there doing it, there's a difference in standing on the sideline and hearing it and then actually doing it yourself. And then the work that he's been able to put in on his own with Coach Furry, or just by himself here, out on the practice field or in the indoor, has really allowed him to take another step as a receiver. And he's got high expectations for himself, as he should, and he's in a room with a lot of competition. I feel like, it's not coach speak. That room has a chance to be the most talented wide receiver room we've had here, certainly in my time, and really probably in a long time here at Carolina. When you just talk about with the freshmen that have come in, the guys that are returning, it's a talented group. And Nick's in there competing and trying to be one of the best ones in there, and has done a good job of progressing.
Hey, Shane, in terms of expectations, do you feel like this year, going into the season, it's kind of similar to the way it was after 22 when you guys are going into the 23 season? You guys are coming off the 8-5 year. And if so, how do you guys – or what are the differences you notice in terms of how you guys handled it then versus right now in the summer?
Yeah, great question. It's something that I've thought about a lot, because coming off the finish of 22 – and then going into 23, the first game was a neutral site game against an ACC opponent, and we lost. And then the third game was an SEC game, just like it will be this year, and we lost. And, I thought that group, because I was very cognizant of it, Jack, that group of everybody's patting them on the back, telling them how great they are, and making sure they don't listen to it, and making sure we keep our edge. And in a lot of ways, I think we did. I think, you look back at that 23 season, injuries had something to do with it. The connection of the team wasn't bad, but I don't think it was as good as it could have been. So, similarities, I don't know if there's a lot. I think this team is maybe a little bit more mature. This team has kept that mentality that I want the team to have in regards to having an edge about themselves. And I'm not saying that 23 didn't. It's just, it feels different. I don't know. I'm kind of bouncing around. But last year's team finished on a 6-game winning streak in the regular season and then fell short in the bowl game. Brings back a lot, and there's a great hunger to take things farther. Well, the 22 team, we had 2 great wins to finish the season, and then played our butts off in the bowl game, but we were maybe a little bit more inconsistent leading into that into the season as well. So it's a deeper team than that 23 team. There's more depth all the way around, and I think there's enough guys here that certainly remember that 23 season. But it wasn't like that was it's a great example in 23 and 24, just the thin line between winning and losing. And y'all have heard me say it. We went 5-7, but we weren't that far away from being 7-5 either that season. So just understanding the hard work that it takes, and I think it's more just off the field, the development, the leadership. But this group's just got different way about them. This is kind of a quiet, we're a young team, but just very business-like in how they do things, and that's the way they've been since January. So I don't know if that answers your question at all, but I've thought about it a lot. All right.
Thank you. Faison?
No update. No update. He's in meetings right now.
And I have a follow-up, too, if I may.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to ask this question. On July 22nd, your video crew rolled out a piece of video about your helmet with the indicating that the big Gamecock logo, as it says here to stay. I'm just wondering, are y'all going to the larger size logo on the side of your helmet compared to the smaller? That's just an interesting question for me.
Why are you embarrassed to answer that question?
That's kind of a stupid question.
That's not a stupid question. It's a great question. I get a lot of chatter, Phil. Yes. I think the bigger logo last year was very popular with our players. They wanted to wear it. What did we wear it against? South Carolina State, I think, for the first time in that throwback game. Not South Carolina State. Who we played? Akron. Yeah, thank you, Lulu. Akron was the throwback game, right? And we wore it. I think that's right. And then they wanted to wear it again against Alabama, and then I think we wore it against Missouri, and then they wanted to wear it in the bowl game, so they like it. Lenoris texted me. I was at dinner in Charleston about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was at dinner, and Lenoris was just texting me helmets that he likes, that he thinks would be cool to wear this upcoming season. I know our players like it, so I asked some of those guys between the smaller Gamecock logo and the bigger one, which one do you guys like? And they all loved it. I think our fans like the bigger logo, so I think that's what we're trending towards for sure, is the bigger logo. You like it? Okay.
It seems like each year there's a couple of points of emphasis that you may tackle a little bit more than others. Last year was kind of seeing about the injury crisis from the year before and getting a little more pass rush. I'm wondering if there's anything this past offseason that you kind of focused some of your attention on, maybe more so than others.
Yeah, I would say offensively, you guys have heard me say it plenty, John, but we've turned the ball over too much from an offensive standpoint. I think last year in this conference, we lost more fumbles than anybody in the league except for maybe one other team fumbles. Now, we were really good, again, defensively at taking the ball away, but that's now a 4-year body of work that we've turned the ball over too much, whether it be interceptions, fumbles. Last year was certainly fumbles. So looking at, okay, we do ball security drills all the time. We emphasize it in practice, but, okay, Shane, you need to find better ways of doing it because clearly it's not getting done as well as we would like. So that's something that we looked at and kind of tweaked and changed some things in regards to how we teach it and emphasize it in practice a little bit. That would be one thing that comes to mind. Special teams wise, we need to be better in the return game. We weren't good enough there last year, so really trying to emphasize that, whether it be the personnel we're using, the people that are catching the kicks and the punts, schemes we're trying, whatever it might be, just trying to get better. So those would be a couple things that come to mind, but not like that's just more on the field areas that we need to improve. But outside of that, I thought, you always tweak. So this year's, camp model is identical to last year's in a lot of ways. Now I always go back and look at notes. And, last year, day one, we had it kind of built in to be a shorter practice as we ramp up, and we ended up just being out there longer than I wanted to be. So tomorrow's going to be, I think 10 minutes shorter or 15 minutes shorter than last year's day one was, just to try and do a good job of ramping up the physical exertion in practice each day. So you're always tweaking, but as far as major changes or emphasis, more so just football things on the field.
Hey, Coach. Got a follow-up to the Faison question. Is that somebody you can comfortably give first-team reps to open fall camp when you don't know with 100% certainty whether he'll be there on August 30th?
You could, but at the same time, we do so much in practice of guys getting multiple reps. I mean, the running backs will get plenty of work. When we're doing our team periods and 7-on-7 tomorrow, early in camp, really for the first couple weeks or week and a half, we'll do it what we call two spots. So there'll be an offense on one field running plays against the defense, and then there'll be an offense on the other field running plays against the defense. So nobody's standing around. All your guys are getting work, and you're able to develop guys. So the running backs will get plenty of work, and there'll be days where whether it be Sewell or Oscar or whoever, Matthew, Jaworn, Bradley. I mean, there's a lot of running backs in there that we want to see all those guys and give them opportunities to compete. But, yeah, Sewell's a guy that it's not like we need to just put him over here on the side until we know. We need to develop him. And as I said the other day, we're full speed ahead on he's going to be eligible. And until somebody tells us otherwise, that's the way we're planning.
I think we got 5 days till it premieres, but what was your experience with the Netflix crew and that coming out? And is that something that you're going to send to recruits of, hey, this is what our program's like behind the scenes?
Yeah, I would hope. That was the whole reason we did it. I hope we don't have to send it to them. I hope they're watching it. Otherwise, what the heck? No, I thought it was really good. They spent a lot of time around our program. I don't know about the other schools and what they did, but from listening to the Netflix guys, I think they were they really enjoyed working with us because of the access that we gave them. They were very respectful of things that maybe I said, you know what, I've always told the players there'll never be cameras in this meeting, so I don't want to make an exception for you guys. I don't let Justin King film these meetings, so I'm not going to let you. They were very respectful of that, but we gave them a ton of access because we don't have anything to hide necessarily. I mean, what you see is what you get with us. And I thought they were good. A lot of the, how many of y'all in Atlanta watched episode 1? Noah? All right. Only you? The rest of y'all just went to dinner and hit the bars or what? I mean, so, all right. You saw it. All right. So I think episode 1, they were at my house. Is that right? I think that's going to be episode 1. There's a lot of personal things. I think they were at Brian Kelly's house or something, maybe in episode 1. So we gave them, and they spent a lot of time with our team, obviously, but then time away from the facility as well, whether it be at my house or I think one game they were sat with Emily and the family at the A&M game. They came to one of Hunter's flag football practices. Then I left and had to go recruiting, and they didn't go recruiting with me, but followed me to the airport. And I'm not sure exactly what all made different cuts and things like that, but they've got a lot of material from South Carolina to choose from. I'll say that. And ultimately they can make the show how they want it, but I think the relationship was good. And certainly if I'm a recruit and I'll watch it from a South Carolina standpoint, there'd be a lot to really about this program, because we tried to give them a very just inside look at what this program's about and the people in this program also. So I enjoyed it. Thought it was pretty cool, and still being on Netflix. I tried the whole year they were here, Jordan, to try and get some sort of cameo in the Netflix show Outer Banks. I still haven't. I see they're filming in Charleston and Myrtle, and still haven't gotten that call, but Armando Baycott from North Carolina got in it. So I was hoping that since they're in the Carolinas, we could do something, but that hasn't happened. But other than that, I was pleased with everything. You don't want Outer Banks to be the last comment or answer?
Hard to top that. Yeah. But as you go into year 5, where do you feel you are as an overall program, records aside, and not reaching the ultimate goal of a national championship, but do you feel like as you go into your 5th year that your culture and everything else is in place where you hoped it would be after four full seasons?
Yeah, absolutely. Have there been some has there been adversity that we face? Sure, like any program through the first 4 years, there have been things that we've grown from, but from where we were in December of 2020, when I literally stood in this spot right here and the team was right here because of COVID, and I had my very first team meeting literally right here from that day in December 2020, when the night before they had been in Lexington, Kentucky, and got hammered pretty good in Lexington. You come and you go from there to where we are now, that here you are now 5 seasons later, and you've accomplished a lot. You're going into a season where you're probably going to be preseason ranked. People are talking about you as a potential playoff team. We've made a lot of progress. There's no question about it. But also understanding, Phil, that every year is starting over, and this is a new team, and what we did in 2024 was great, but 2025 is a brand new season, and we got a lot of work to do. But absolutely, when you look at what we're doing academically, the fact that the last 2 semesters were the greatest semesters academically in the history of South Carolina football, highest GPAs ever. Last fall semester, and then we shattered the fall record in the spring with what our guys did academically. We were graduating players, so off the field things are going well. Culture-wise, making good decisions and doing good things off the field for sure. On the field, what we've accomplished, what we've done, where we've been, but where we're going. Recruiting, I understand you're not going to, get all of them, but we've done a lot from a recruiting standpoint, made a lot of progress, and we're still a young team, Phil. I mean, I know there's a lot of expectations for this year's team, and there should be. I'm excited, and we got a chance to have a really good team, but we're gonna be good in years to come as well when you start looking at who could be back in 26 and 27 and beyond, and the guys that are interested in our program right now, and the guys that may have committed elsewhere that are this summer that are already reaching back out to us saying, hey, coach, y'all still interested as well? I mean, there's a lot of excitement about South Carolina football right now. I'm focused on having a great practice one tomorrow, but if somebody had told me in December 2020 we'd be where we are right now going into 2025, I would have taken it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming out.